Hello, viewer. Welcome to the second episode of Trin Talks. And in today's episode, the beast is unleashed as the chains come off and the rambling really starts. Now, the previous episode, the first episode, it wasn't scripted, but I had like an idea in mind on what I was going to talk about. The main point was to just get an update out on the channel, announce Exploring Indiana, announce LOL Tapes 10 and whatnot. But now that all that's out of the way, this episode is more like the first episode, like the first true episode of what Trin Talks will really be like. So sit back and relax and let's talk. So first, a quick channel update. I have put out Dogs 103 to positive reception. Thank you everyone for your support on that. So next weekend, on the 21st of June, me and 4 other people, we're going up to Canada. We're going to Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario for a few nights. I should be back home on Tuesday the 24th. Afterward, I do have several days off work. It is during that time that I'll probably be editing LOL Tapes, the final chapter, because that's what I've got next on my agenda for what I want to get out before I then start working on Exploring Indiana. So LOL Tapes, the final chapter, might come out within the next 2 weeks or so. Afterward, I'll start working on Exploring Indiana. I've already gone up to the Potawatomi Zoo and filmed background footage for that episode, but I do still need to write a script and do my voiceover for that, and of course the editing. So yeah, that's gonna be fun. Until then, there will probably be a couple episodes of Trin Talks in between all that. And one more little elephant in the room that I should address. There was a comment on Dogs 103 asking if there are any plans to make a JonTron Discovers Honey Pop 2. And if we're gonna just be straight up honest, I'm inclined to say no, right? So, I don't really watch much JonTron anymore these days. He just doesn't have that, I don't know how to describe it. Like his content's not bad. In fact, the production values on it are actually, obscenely good. But, every now and then I'll pop into a more recent JonTron video. It just doesn't have that, that quotability to it. I'll watch a video, right, of his, and he'll say something, and I won't. There just aren't those moments where it's like, oh, that's a bit. I could use that in a video, like the way I could with his older stuff. Maybe it has something to do with the way he shifted the direction of his channel away from gaming. I don't know. I can't really dog on him for shifting away from that. I mean, I myself am currently pivoting my own channel, so who am I to get upset over someone for doing that? But no, I don't think there will be a JonTron Discovers Honey Pop 2. And then that's not also to mention, too, that, I don't know if you can really do a video like that on YouTube anymore. I feel like YouTube will, kill this channel over that because of the content in Honey Pop. I'm to this day, sometimes I'll get, emails and whatnot of them trying to mess with the first 2 JonTron Discovers Honey Pop videos. And of course, then again, I did always say that I would never make another episode of LOL Tapes ever again. And well, so I guess never say never. But in the case of JonTron Discovers Honey Pop 2, it is more likely never. So that comment did actually give me an idea, though, to maybe do a Q&A segment for every episode of Trin Talks. So if you drop your questions in the comments down below, then I can answer them in the next episode, provided I remember to actually make this segment a thing, and I don't just completely forget after editing, and when I go to record the next episode of Trin Talks. But yeah, I guess that's all the updates on the channel so far, so let's ramble. So over the past year or so, I've been watching this guy on YouTube and Instagram. His name's Benjamin Battles. He lives down in Tennessee, I believe, and he does car videos. More specifically, he does these quick reviews of Japanese domestic market vehicles. And well, I've never been really that much of a car guy, but as I've watched this stuff, I've kind of developed an interest in JDM cars, more specifically K cars. Now, for those that don't know, K cars are these tiny little cars, like we don't really have them here in the US because our laws are stupid and our laws favor making these giant boxes on wheels that don't seem to do really much other than guzzle gas and kill children needlessly, but that's for a whole nother video. There's plenty of videos on that. Go watch Not Just Bikes or something. I'm no expert on any of that. So in my quest to find out more about Japanese K cars, I ended up finding another YouTube channel called Way Before the Fame. He's this guy in New York who specializes in K cars. He buys them and, you know, he reviews them and whatnot. And it was because of this that I decided, oh, I need to get one of these myself, all right? I've been searching around for several months, and eventually I stumbled upon Facebook Marketplace, which I've heard stories of bad things happening on Facebook Marketplace, and that it's probably not a place you should reliably go to for buying any sort of vehicle or anything like that. But I did end up browsing some of it, and, well, as of the end of May, I am now the proud owner of a 1996 Suzuki Alto Works. I ended up finding one that was 2 hours southeast of me, right? The guy ended up meeting with the guy, and ended up buying it, and the guy was super nice, super professional, God bless him. So ever since then, I've been basically driving it to work every night. It is a really fun thing to drive. Like, I'll be going like 30 miles an hour in it, and it feels like I'm going 60, like I'm flying. It is so fun to drive. Now, it runs great, and everything works perfectly as far as driving it goes. There are some things that need some work. Like, for some whatever reason, the rear windshield wiper arm is completely missing. Like, the motor is still there, and it works. Like, if I press the button, I can hear it going. And if I go look in the back, they've got this, someone put a little, like, knob on. They screwed a little knob onto where the arm should screw onto. You can see it, like, rotating perfectly fine. And the washer fluid little nozzle for the back also works just fine. It just doesn't have an arm and a blade. So I've got an arm coming in from Japan, because that's about the only way you can get that, is you got to import stuff directly from Japan for it, because, you know, this vehicle was never sold in the U.S., and not to mention the fact that it's also 30 years old. But another thing I need to work out is the power outlet doesn't seem to work. I don't know if it's the outlet itself or the fuse. I'm still looking into it, but as of right now, I can't really charge my phone in there. I mean, there is a radio that the previous owner put in that has a USB port. I do plug in the dash cam, my dash cam, because I have a dash cam because I'm super paranoid. But I can plug my phone in there too, but it doesn't really, like, it's that port was probably never really meant for charging a phone. Like, that's what the outlet's for, because, like, and maybe it's just because I've got, like, all these apps open when I'm driving. Like, I got a speedometer app on it, because the speedometer in the car itself's in metric, which we don't use in here in the U.S., but so I pull one up that has the, you know, miles per hour on it, which, like, I know, like I kind of know, like, what kilometers is in miles, but it's for sake of convenience. I don't want to have to think about it constantly while driving, because then that's it on itself, a distraction, you know. And then, of course, also I got the music player, because, you know, play it through Bluetooth. As it is right now, if I plug that phone in to the USB port on the radio, the battery still drains faster than it charges. It does drain slower, mind you, so it's not like it's broken or anything. It's just that, and it doesn't help too that I've also got the dash cam, because I have a two-way splitter that splits the USB cables into two. So I got one plugged into the dash cam, and that's how I power the dash cam. So, yeah, I mean, you know, it's obviously, it's a 30-year-old car, so when they designed that car, they didn't know that smartphones were going to be a thing, and they definitely didn't know that Americans 30 years later were going to be importing them into their country and driving them around on interstate highways and whatnot. But yeah, it is a fun little car. Another thing I want to work out is the wheels. Like, God bless the guy who previously owned it. Super nice, super chill guy. He seemed like a guy I genuinely would want to be friends with, and I probably should have, like, friended him on Facebook or something. I don't know, maybe. But he put these wheels on there that are like this bright, like, highlighter green, and they, like, I'm no offense to him, but like they do not look good. It does not fit with the car because the car itself. I'm sure there'll already be. I'll put pictures on the screen or something with my $1,000 camera that I bought for exploring Indiana. The car itself is black with a gray bumper and trim, and then you got these like highlighter green wheels. So I'm gonna figure out what to do about those, whether I'm gonna go get those painted or whatever to probably match the bumper so that it just does not look right. Maybe if the car itself had like a green trim or the black was the highlighter green, then the wheels would definitely look better. But black car, gray trim, gray bumper, highlighter green wheels, it just doesn't, like, maybe if it was a more dark green, maybe. But it's just this bright green. But yeah, that's been fun. I'm probably not going to get that stuff worked out until after I'm back from Canada, which I'm not taking this car to Canada, by the way. Like, because this is a 7-hour drive, and this car has no cruise control. And just a few weeks ago, I had gone to my friend's apartment 50 miles north of me, which that's only 45 minutes away. And, I mean, driving it without the cruise control wasn't so bad, but then I got to their apartment complex, and there's these speed bumps, and oh my god, those speed bumps are a nightmare on a little car like that. Like, I had to, like, come to a full stop at them and just, like, inch over them, and it doesn't help that, like, the suspension on this car is kind of stiff, too. I don't know if that's by design or if that's just because it's old or whatever. I'm not an expert on any of that. But yeah, that's why I'll be taking my other car to Canada, my 2017 Volkswagen Passat. It doesn't help, too, that there's also 5 of us going on this trip, and we just barely got 3 of us into the Suzuki Alto. You're definitely not going to get 5 of us in there, especially if you're going to have, you know, bags and whatnot. Also, I've been on this trip before, and I've driven up there. The speed limit's too high for a little car like the car. I can reliably do 75 in that car, but the speed limit there where we're going, or through I-75 in northern Michigan, is the speed limit is 75, and people tend to do a few miles an hour faster than that, and that's just driving it for that long. I don't know, because it wasn't really built for that, because in Japan, Japan's not as big of a country, and people don't drive as far and for as long, and I don't think for as fast. I think their speed limits are much lower, too. I don't know. I've never been to Japan, but not taking it to Canada, as much as I would like to. Now, I may not be taking it to Canada, but for some of the episodes of Exploring Indiana that are closer to home, I'll probably take it on those. But for the longer distance trips, I'm definitely taking the Passat, and definitely for some of the sketchier locations too, because like at one point I do want to do an episode where I go to Michael Jackson's childhood home in Gary, and anyone who doesn't know, Gary kind of has a pretty sketchy reputation. Like, Gary used to be one of the most dangerous cities in America. I don't know that it still is. I don't think it is. I think it's gotten a lot better since then, but it's still not really a great place to go. So when I do get around to filming that episode, I'm definitely taking the Passat, and I'm probably not going alone on that one, and I'm probably going to conceal carry in that episode, because I don't think anything bad's actually going to happen. But apparently just a few years ago, there was like a little girl who got like murdered outside of that house. So yeah, that's not exactly a place you should just be hanging out in. But yeah, the car is in great condition, and I got it for a good price. I only paid $6,600 on that, which is insanely cheap. I mean, if you've seen what car prices are like nowadays, like, you can't find new cars under $20,000 anymore. Even used cars are like $10,000. But yeah, I got a good deal, and it's really low. Like, for its age, it's low mileage. Like, the odometer's obviously in kilometers, but I did like conversions, and it was only at like 93,000 miles. So for reference, this 30-year-old car has less miles on it than my 8-year-old Passat. All right, like someone was like the owner, whoever had that previously, like back when it was still in Japan, they were taking good care of it. And insurance was super easy too. Like I'm insured through USAA, so I've already heard, because when I did my research, I heard that USAA just happens to be one of the better insurance companies for K car owners, and so no, I didn't really have much trouble getting it full coverage insurance, and my insurance rates are like really like dirt cheap too. Like USAA is a really good insurance company. But yeah, I had bought that car, and within 36 hours I had it insured, titled, and registered, and the very next night I was driving it to work, and I have no regrets at all. It was definitely worth it, making that 2-hour drive. Yeah, it was probably one of the best investments I ever made. I look forward to having little adventures with the little car. And the thing about it being covered through USAA had me thinking, and this is probably some really wild thinking, because like I don't really know much about how any of this works, so I'm basically just making things up at this point. But since USAA primarily serves military veterans, like my father, who's an Army veteran, that's me wondering if you could get like a movement amongst veterans to drive K cars that could turn into like a movement, a sort of political, I guess, movement to get the government to loosen up laws against K cars. Like imagine though, like we could import them brand new into the U.S. Like this probably realistically never happened, but imagine like we start a movement, like call it K is the way, getting like veterans to rally in favor for importing K cars and other JDM vehicles to the U.S. And eventually they have to loosen up the laws against it. Because as it is right now, to get a car like that in the U.S., it either has to be modified to meet standards, which is virtually impossible for a K car. There's basically no way to make a K car meet the U.S. standards, or it has to be at least 25 years of age to import. Because like I've already kind of seen stuff like farmers and whatnot are importing like Honda Actis because getting American trucks is just too expensive because of how big they're getting, and it's just much cheaper to import like a Honda Acti or an Daihatsu Hijet over buying a brand new F-150. So I wonder if you could like get a little oomph into that movement, get that movement out to a more general audience, because like buying a car in this day and age is difficult because of how expensive cars are getting, because of like inflation, and how big cars are getting makes it even more expensive and whatnot. But yeah, I guess just like, K is the way. But I don't know, I'm not really an expert on law or political movements or anything. Alright, I'm just a guy with a Suzuki Alto who's been having lots of fun, and I want others to be able to experience that fun. Because it just seems like people who drive those giant trucks and the giant SUVs, they don't seem happy with it. Like, they might say they're happy, but like, just something in their eyes, they seem miserable. And I don't know if it's like, maybe it's like a chicken and the egg thing. Like, does the big SUV make them miserable, or are miserable people just drawn to the big SUV? I don't know. I just noticed that like people like me and our little cars seem a lot happier, and I just want, other people to experience that happiness. But yeah, I guess that's it for this episode of Trin Talks. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Until then, roll the generic end card.